Golden light from the chandelier cast a soft glow over our dining room, illuminating the delicate necklace resting against Emily's collarbone. The moment my eyes landed on it, something inside me twisted. The piece was elegant, too elegant for a casual purchase, too expensive for an impulsive buy. She noticed my stare and smirked, letting her fingers trace over the pendant as if drawing attention to it. "Like it?" she purred, tilting her head. "New?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "A gift from work," she said nonchalantly, twirling a strand of auburn hair between her fingers. "Boss thought I deserved something special." A gift from work? My grip on the fork tightened. That wasn't just odd, it was suspicious. Emily worked in real estate, and I had never heard of her company handing out luxury jewelry for a job well done. Feigning indifference, I nodded. "Strange. Your boss never seemed like the generous type." She hesitated, just for a second, before flashing an easy smile. "Guess I impressed him." The words settled heavily in my chest. For months, things had been different. Emily's routine had shifted in ways I couldn't ignore. Late nights at the office, laughter into her phone, cut short when I entered the room. The scent of cologne that didn't belong to me clinging to her clothes. Now this necklace. That night, I lay in bed beside her, staring at the ceiling. Emily's breathing was soft, steady, completely at ease. Meanwhile, my mind raced, piecing together fragments of a puzzle I wished didn't exist. Something was going on. I just didn't know what. The next morning, Emily was up early, meticulously applying makeup, something she hadn't done in months. She slipped into a form-fitting dress, the necklace proudly displayed. The scent of her perfume, stronger than usual, filled the air. I sat on the edge of the bed, watching her through the mirror. "Big day at work?" She smiled, checking her reflection. "Yeah, a client meeting." "Where?" She paused. "Downtown." A lie. Her office was in the opposite direction. My stomach twisted, but I didn't let it show. Instead, I made a decision. I was going to follow her. Emily left the house, and I waited 5 minutes before grabbing my keys. Staying far enough behind, I tracked her car as it wove through the city street. When she finally pulled into a luxury hotel parking lot, my pulse pounded in my ears. I watched from a distance as she stepped out, adjusting her dress, smoothing her hair. Then, a man approached her. Tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in an expensive suit. His hand rested too comfortably on her lower back as they walked into the hotel together. Rage burned through me. I clenched the steering wheel, forcing myself to think logically. Bursting in there would accomplish nothing. If I wanted the truth, I needed proof. My revenge wouldn't come from blind fury. It would come from precision. And it would leave her trembling. My hands trembled as I drove away from the hotel, my mind clouded with anger and betrayal. The image of Emily laughing, her body leaning into another man, played in a continuous loop in my head. I had suspected something was wrong for months, but seeing it with my own eyes made it real. That night, I sat at the dining table, watching her move around the kitchen as if nothing had changed. She hummed softly, the golden necklace glinting under the lights. I clenched my fist. "How was work?" I asked, keeping my tone even. Emily didn't even look up as she stirred a pot of pasta. "Exhausting. Meetings all day. You know how it is." A perfect lie, effortlessly spoken. I forced a smile. "Did you meet any interesting clients?" She hesitated, then shrugged. "Same old faces." The hotel parking lot flashed in my mind. Her body against his. Her laugh, soft, intimate, familiar. I swallowed back my fury. I was thinking we should take a vacation soon. Just the two of us. Emily turned, eyes widening slightly. "Oh, that's sweet. But work is crazy right now. Maybe in a few months." Another lie. She wasn't planning a future with me. That night, as she slept soundly beside me, I stared at the ceiling, my mind whirling. I needed more than just what I saw. I needed undeniable proof. The next day, I made a call. Hiring a private investigator felt like something out of a bad movie, but I was past caring. Within hours, I had a meeting set up. A gruff man named Carter sat across from me in a dimly lit cafe, sipping black coffee. His eyes, sharp and calculating, studied me. "You sure you want to know?" he asked. "Some people think they do, but when they see the truth, it wrecks them." My jaw tightened. "I need to know everything." Carter nodded and slid a contract across the table. "Give me a week." I didn't have to wait that long. Just 3 days later, Carter sent me the first batch of photos. Emily, the man from the hotel. Their hands brushing, their lips meeting, their bodies tangled in sheet. I stared at the images, my pulse roaring in my ears. This wasn't a one-time mistake. It was an affair, ongoing, passionate, deliberate. Along with the photos came hotel receipts, call logs, even text messages pulled from her phone. "Emily, can't wait to see you again. Last night was incredible. Unknown number. You look so sexy wearing that necklace I got you." I felt sick. The necklace. The one she flaunted at our dinner table. The one she let me admire, knowing damn well where it came from. The ultimate slap in the face. For a long time, I sat in silence, my fingers gripping the edges of the photos. I could confront her now. Throw the evidence in her face. Demand answers she'd never give honestly. But that would be too easy. Emily had played me for a fool. It was my turn to play her. And when I was done, she would regret every single lie. Rage alone wasn't enough. I needed a plan. A brutal, calculated response that would leave Emily in ruins. She had flaunted her betrayal so shamelessly, so boldly, that it was only fair I made her downfall just as spectacular. I spent the next few days gathering more intel. Carter, my investigator, provided me with a goldmine of information. Her lover's name was Daniel Hawthorne, a wealthy real estate developer. Married. 2 kids. A reputation built on being a family man. The hypocrisy made my skin crawl. Emily hadn't just betrayed me, she had tangled herself in a web of deceit that went far beyond our marriage. And now I was going to make sure the entire thing collapsed on top of her. That evening, I played the part of the oblivious husband. I brought home her favorite takeout, poured her a glass of wine, and sat across from her at the dinner table. She looked radiant, laughing at some meaningless story, twirling the cursed necklace between her fingers. I forced myself to smile. I was thinking of throwing a party. Emily blinked. "A party? Yeah, something fancy. You've been working so hard, you deserve a night to relax." Her expression softened. "That's sweet. Who are you inviting?" I leaned back, taking a sip of wine. "Oh, just some close friends. A few people from your office. And Daniel Hawthorne." The name landed like a slap. Emily stiffened for the briefest second before forcing a casual smile. "Daniel? Why him?" I shrugged. "I've been meaning to meet some of your colleagues. And well, since he's such a generous boss, I figured it was only right to thank him in person." Her fingers tightened around the wineglass. She was unraveling. Perfect. The night of the party arrived. I had spared no expense. Caterers, music, expensive decor. Emily had spent hours getting ready, slipping into a stunning black dress, completely unaware that tonight wasn't about celebration. It was about destruction. As guests arrived, I played the charming host, keeping an eye on my wife as she nervously scanned the crowd. When Daniel finally walked in, his own unsuspecting wife on his arm, Emily paled. I greeted him warmly, shaking his hand like an old friend. "Daniel, so glad you could make it." His smile was smooth, practiced. "Wouldn't miss it." Emily shot me a look, her panic barely concealed. But I ignored her, guiding the couple further inside. The real show was about to begin. An hour into the night, I tapped my glass, silencing the room. "Ladies and gentlemen," I announced, my voice dripping with amusement, "I want to take a moment to acknowledge my incredible wife." Emily's face lit up, hopeful, relieved. She had no idea. "She's worked tirelessly these past few months," I continued, "and I recently discovered just how much effort she's been putting in." A slideshow began playing on the massive screen behind me. The first image, Emily and Daniel outside the hotel. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The next slide, them kissing in the lobby. Emily's wineglass slipped from her hand, shattering against the floor. The final image, a text message thread between them. Daniel, I can't wait to rip that dress off you again. Emily, you better bring that necklace, I want to wear it while you do. Silence fell. Daniel's wife stepped away from him, her expression twisted in horror. He stammered, turning to Emily, but she was frozen, eyes wide, face pale. I smiled. Seems my wife has been working extra late these days. The fallout was instant. Daniel's wife stormed out, screaming accusations. Guests whispered, some filming, some simply staring. Emily turned to me, trembling. You planned this? I leaned in close, my voice a whisper only she could hear. You flaunted your betrayal. I just made sure everyone saw it. She collapsed onto a chair, hands shaking. But I wasn't done yet. Not even close. Emily sat frozen, her face drained of all color, her hands gripping the edges of the chair, as if the world around her was spinning out of control. Daniel's wife, Victoria, stormed toward him, eyes blazing. How long, Daniel? She spat, voice shaking. How long have you been screwing his wife behind my back? Daniel stammered, reaching for her arm. Baby, please, let's talk about this. A loud slap echoed through the room. Gasps rippled through the crowd as Victoria stepped back, fury burning in her gaze. You disgust me. She turned on her heel and marched out, leaving Daniel standing there, humiliated. I took a slow sip of my drink, relishing the moment. Emily, still trembling, finally turned to me, her voice barely a whisper. How could you do this? I smiled. How could you? The murmurs in the room grew louder. Our guests, once excited for a fun evening, now whispered like vultures circling a fresh carcass. Emily darted her eyes around, her breathing ragged. She had always cared about appearances, about being admired, envied. Now she was nothing but a public disgrace. But I wasn't done yet. I cleared my throat, drawing everyone's attention again. I'd also like to make an important announcement, I said, adjusting my tie. Emily and I won't be staying together. I've already filed for divorce. Emily's head snapped toward me. What? Oh, and don't worry about the house, I added with a smirk. It's already sold. Shock flashed in her eyes. You can't. I can, I interrupted smoothly. It was in my name, remember? Her lips parted, but no words came out. I continued, my voice calm. I also took the liberty of closing our joint accounts. Well, my account. You won't see a single penny from me. She gasped. That's not fair. I tilted my head. Oh, you mean you screwing another man while living in my house, spending my money, and lying to my face was fair? Emily visibly shrank under the weight of her mistakes. Daniel, who had been silent, suddenly turned to her, his face dark with realization. Wait, if he sold the house, and he had control of the accounts, you're broke? She turned to him, panicked. Daniel, please. But he was already stepping away. I have a wife to try and fix things with. I don't need this mess. And just like that, he left too. The final blow. Emily stood there alone, shaking, the golden necklace, her trophy of betrayal, still hanging around her neck. But now, it was nothing more than a symbol of her downfall. I leaned in, my voice low, just for her. You flaunted your affair, I whispered. Now, you have nothing. Tears spilled down her cheeks, but I didn't care. I had spent months in the dark, doubting myself, wondering if I was crazy for suspecting her. Now the truth was out, and I was finally free. Without another word, I turned and walked out of the house, leaving Emily behind in the wreckage of her own making. Justice had never felt so sweet.